fast that's moving. All right, you can see the ridge out front, and you can see what they call the knuckles. You put your hand out like this, you can count the bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see them?
Oh, I see them.
Oh, birds.
You got it. You don't have a lot of time here to get a look at some birds.
There's the other
Don't
bird.
guess. Look at them and tell me what they are.
No geese.
They keep flapping. What is that? Well, they're not raptors.
That's
They're
pulse.
some kind of probably a waterfowl.
What's it called again?
So we're going to talk about ecology. This is a forest that's in a state of succession. To succeed means from one thing to follow another thing. So this forest was harvested and the wood was used for charcoal. So the wood was cut down here and then they would bury it in these smoldering pits and they'd create charcoal. So what was the charcoal used for?
Coal mining.
Coal mining. Right? And besides coal mining, there's a second one. Bethlehem Steel. This is a huge steel making industry. It made this the economic hub of the East Coast.
Really?
These were some of the biggest cities and the most vibrant economic cities of all of the East Coast. To make steel, you take limestone and you burn it with charcoal. The carbon monoxide of the charcoal reacts with the compounds in the limestone and you get a crystallized iron, which is steel. And basically there's a couple different kinds of steel, but that's what the charcoal was used for. So we're going to take you down and around to a thing called the slide. Because what's the best way to get things up and down a mountain? They had a railroad track with a car on it.
Cool.
So what you'll see, you don't see it anymore, but they had the car. You'd fill the car with the sandstone or the charcoal or whatever you're moving, mostly the sandstone, and then you'd let go of it and it would go down the track and then a counterweight would come up. Empty it out, let go of the counterweight, and the empty car would come back up. And that's the kind of engineering they used. Didn't require any fuel to move those things up and down in the early 1900s. And so right over here is where the slide was, where they took the sandstone down and then the railroad car brought it back up. So it doesn't look like it, ecologically speaking, but this is a forest in a state of deep instability. There's a great deal of competition going on between these trees. In 100 years, none of these trees will be here. They'll have been outcompeted by a species more adapted, all right, to the conditions. So that every living thing in this space is behaving very, very aggressively, even though you can't tell. So this is called secondary succession. Primary succession is the formation of an ecosystem where no living thing existed before, like on the surface of a volcano. Like a volcano erupts and all that lava hardens and nothing's living there. An ecosystem will develop. That's primary succession. But if you have an original ecosystem and you wipe it out with like a fire or a landslide, and the soil still exists, and it regrows, that's secondary succession. This is a story, this is what we call a serial or an intermediate community in the stages of succession on their way to becoming a climax or more stable community. All right, so I got slugs here, thanks to Corey McNaught. So these belong to a category called mollusks. They're soft-bodied. Okay? They're called gastropods. Gastropods mean stomach-footed. Now, without a shell, it's hard to defend yourself from a predator. So I'm looking for a very, very brave volunteer.
Oh God. To what?
Are we gonna lick the slug?
Yes.
I'll do it.
What? Lick
Okay.
is wrong.
Put your hand out. What? Boys, excuse me. Do you want me to tell you that in 20 years of doing this, girls always have volunteered first?
Why?
I've never had a boy volunteer.
Lick a slug?
Right?
Am I just licking it?
Go like this.
We do it again.
No. Anybody else want to try? It doesn't taste
Maybe
like
it tastes
anything.
like mud.
It's cold.
Do it again.
Doesn't taste like anything. There's a little bit of dirt on it. Is it doing it?
No.
Is it moving? Does it move?
What's it
Wait.
supposed to do?
Usually,
It's gross.
there's slime. There's slime has an anesthetic effect. It makes the inside of your mouth numb. The tip of your mouth.
Wait, never mind.
Wait. I'll try it.
All right, and so if you're a predator and you put this slug in your mouth and you try to chew it, your whole mouth gets numb. You lose control. You end up spitting it out.
That's the smartest.
Did you do it?
Yes.
Mom, come on, honey, you can do it.
Wait, stop.
He did it.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
It takes a couple minutes. It doesn't happen right
Wait,
away.
I didn't taste
What
anything.
is it? What happened?
Just put it in your mouth.
They're mud. They're kind of muddy tasting. Like I'll eat ocean snails. I cook them on the beach
Ew.
all the time.
That's called
All right, let's not
I can't
share
feel
any
my
more
tongue.
germs as our group.
That's called
I can't feel my tongue.
But it makes us closer together.
Okay, we talked about plants that make 3 different shaped leaves. Some are completely ovoid, some have 3 lobes, and some have 2 lobes. All right, who remembers what this is?
Sassafras.
This is sassafras. You can dig up the root and brew it and make like sassafras type of root beer. That we're going to do some tree identification. So when you look at your handout, you're going to want to add this to your list. Anybody know what this is? It's a coniferous tree. It reproduces using cones, not flowers. All right, well this tree is easy to recognize, very common here because the needles don't grow in a circle. All right, they grow flat, left to right side of the branch. There's really short needles, and if you turn them over, you can see a pair. I can't see, I don't have my glasses on, but they look white on the bottom. By the way, needles are modified leaves. They've just been made really small, and they have a thick waxy covering to prevent dehydration in the winter. Starts with an H. Hemlock. This is a hemlock tree. It's the common name witch hazel because of these little things that look like witches' caps that grow on the surface of the leaf. It's a little insect, like an egg pod.
Wait, and that's part of the leaf?
Look, it's probably harming the leaf.
But it's... Wait, so that's part of the leaf, it's not an
Well, it's
outside.
attached to the leaf. So the insect is coming and it's laid this egg sac on top of this leaf. So you can pass it around, but those little pointy caps that look like witches' hats are how witch hazel gets its name.